attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement you were giving up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
You need to speak up.
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter a plea in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty, sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Reyes, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page, did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea, there's a $2,000 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication. They will take in consideration cause number 690950, and there's to be restitution to Somerset PD for testing. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Outside the plea bargain agreement, the state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 2 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 200 hours community service restitution, and the weapon is to be destroyed in 690950. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Okay.
State, any evidence to support the defendant's plea?
State offers exhibit 1 in all attachments.
Any objection?
No objections, Your Honor.
Showing you what's entitled wavering consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports and laboratory reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. And I'm sorry, with regards to this offense, how are you pleading?
No contest.
Okay. After reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, I'm going to find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. I'll defer finding of guilt as you applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Reyes is 19 years old. He's a high school graduate. He's worked part-time with his mother's landscaping companies. He's also taking care of some kids as well as working on his own on a graphic design program, which he hopes to enroll in January. So he's kind of getting his life on track and this kind of put him on the sidelines for a bit.
All right. How old are you?
19.
Do you have any children?
No.
Are you living with your mom?
Yes.
Why are you getting involved with this nonsense?
I was just, hanging around the wrong people. I was influenced
sorry?
I would say, just making bad choices.
All right. I don't understand why people let people influence them. And usually young people are let people influence them who have not been in their life for more than 2 months. As my grandmother would say, you are lucky then you are not around when people had all these cults and they're having people drink Kool-Aid, because you would have been one of those people who would have went right off with them. And I can say that because my grandmother would always tell us, I'm glad your aunt was not in New York, because she would have been right at Jonestown with everybody else, because people are easily influenced. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And when you come before me and you say you were hanging out with wrong people, if I had those people in front of me and I asked them, why are you doing this foolishness? You know what they would tell me? I was hanging out with the wrong people and I'm easily influenced. And I would say, well, who are these wrong people you're hanging out with? And you know who would they name? You. Now, when you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be? And you are getting drug tested today. So you might as well tell me the truth now and not have probation waste a UA cup on you. So what are you going to be positive for?
Marijuana,
How often are you smoking marijuana?
like once a week.
All right. So here's the thing. I know that people say marijuana, there's not a problem with smoking it. You know, I understand. Have I ever smoked marijuana in my lifetime? No. But this is what I do know. You are in the state of Texas. You are not in Colorado. You are not in another state where marijuana is legal. Marijuana is still illegal in the state of Texas. And you cannot smoke marijuana while you're on probation. Do you understand?
Yes.
So there is none of this sitting out on your balcony. The weather is cool. This is the perfect time to smoke marijuana because the weather is just at that certain state. I can say that because when I was in college, that's what people would say. This is the perfect weather for smoking marijuana. And I'm like, yeah, I don't do that, but go on with your life. So you're going to have to start making better choices. If you do not, guess what's going to end up happening? You're going to be in prison or you're going to be in the Bexar County Jail.
Yes.
And you're young. People at the jail would welcome you, I would say, with open arms. You wouldn't appreciate their welcome, but they would welcome you. The prison would welcome you with open arms. And you would not appreciate their welcome. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Would you like to be brought over in orange?
No, Your Honor.
All right. And is your mom, you love your mom?
Yes.
Mom don't want you here for this. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And whose car were you driving
That was my truck. Oh, wait, you're talking about
during this?
my Theos.
He doesn't appreciate you having drugs in his car and smoking marijuana in his car. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. This is what the court is going to do. The court is going to sentence you to 3 years deferred adjudication. There's a $2,000 fine that will be probated. Take in consideration 690,950. There's to be restitution to Somerset PD for drug testing. I'm going to want regular UAs, and he's to be tested for levels. We'll do the DOEP course. There's to be 200 hours of community service restitution. Destroy the weapon. And 690,950. Regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Regular UAs. So what are you doing in your spare time?
Just working part-time some days throughout the week. Then when I'm off, I help watch my sister's little kid. She's 2 years old.
All right. And how old is your sister?
She's 21, but she's a general manager at Taco Bell. So she gets late hours. So the days that she's working late, I'll help watch her daughter.
You can't be watching anybody's children when you use marijuana. You understand? So who else is at the home when you're watching the 2-year-old?
Well, sometimes my grandma's there. That's if she wants to come over to my mom's apartment.
All right. I'm going to tell you, there's not going to be any unsupervised contact with minors until his levels are down for marijuana use. Babies don't need to be smelling people who smell like marijuana, and they don't need people using marijuana around them. You understand? Because everything that you do, they pick up on.
Yes, Your Honor.
And I can tell you from a person who doesn't smoke cigarettes, never smoked marijuana. If I walk by and I smell someone who smoked marijuana or smoked cigarettes or drank alcohol, it's like a heavy scent to me and it almost gives me a headache. So with young children, it's the same thing. And you don't want her ending up around people and they say, this baby's clothes smell like marijuana. We don't want that, do we?
No, Your Honor.
And we don't want her to start off her life in a bad situation because her uncle uses drugs. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So there's to be no unsupervised contact with minors until he produces a negative UA. I'm going to want field visits one time per month for 4 months, and then probation. After that, if everything is going well, you can have field visits however you deem is appropriate. And are you in school?
No.
So what are you planning on doing with the rest of your life?
Going out soon, I'm gonna try to go into graphics designing school.
All right. So if he provides a certificate or some sort of completion of some sort of trade school or school, then the 100 hours of then the 200 hours of community service hours will be waived. So you can spend your day. I always say community service hours is great and you always get something out of it. But here's the situation. You can either do 200 community service hours, you'll feel great in your heart, or you can either get a college degree or go into trade school, and those 200 community service hours will be wiped out and you will have improved yourself for a better occupation. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, probation. Is there anything else he needs? Yes, we'll do a TAP evaluation. And we'll follow the recommendations for TAP, but if TAP recommends inpatient treatment, we'll start with intensive outpatient treatment. Is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful?
No, Your Honor.
Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. Here on out, everything that you do in this world, while you're on paper or under a contract with the court, anything you want to do, you need to ask yourself 2 questions. 1, is this something that could potentially result in me going to the state jail facility for 2 years? If the answer is yes, don't do it. If the answer is maybe, don't do it. Do not come back to this court if your levels are at 0 and then they end up rising. And the probation, they send me a motion to revoke. Do not come back to me saying, oh, I got a contact high. Oh, I was around somebody else who was using. Because guess what? In the conditions of your probation, you are not supposed to be around anyone who's breaking the laws of Texas. And as I said before, possession of marijuana, using marijuana is illegal in Texas. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you. Do better.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Keith Davis. Who's the attorney for Keith Davis?